What's up, everybody? It's your boy Quentin Marcellus, all the way in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm a model, actor, music artist, and a man of many hats.
What's going on? What's going on? It's Chaz Warhol on the ones and twos. Baltimore, Maryland, the place to be. I am a singer, songwriter, photographer, all good things in between. Pass it on to Unity. What's going on?
What's good? What's good? All the way live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is UNITY. Not actor. Well, listen, I might be now.
You're
Look,
put it in the
out,
universe, girl.
Artist, creator, owner of You Got the Juice and Juice Apparel, dancer, all things creative. What's up, Dave? How are you?
Dave Bridgeforth here, director, producer, publisher, writer, creator, and manifester of dope shit.
Hey.
I'm happy to be here with you. We're from Harlem, New York.
Oh, welcome.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
So David is definitely a very special guest, my godfather, and somebody who really just opened the doors up for me as a Black queer person when I first came out. And we'll get to that later in the conversation, later on the podcast. But first, I want to start off by asking everybody, how has your week been? Let's do a check-in.
How's the week been?
How has your week been? Anybody don't feel free to jump in whenever you want.
Very productive. I work with kids, so we've been doing some really cool stuff this week and really getting to take little Black kids and have them experience some really cool things. Like there's the Fab Lab, the maker space. So they're getting ready, they're making keychains and just learning how to use the equipment and get their mind frames outside of things other than sports. And so it's just really interesting to see them try to make that shift. So my week has been super productive. And I have some really cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks for You Got the Juice. So I'm like super excited. And so, yes.
And so for the people that don't know what You Got the Juice is, what's You Got the Juice? Tell us about your brand.
You Got the Juice it started off as just a juice business, but it's manifested into so much more. So basically You Got the Juice is about empowering people and letting them know the power that they have, that possess within their body, from being able to heal themselves, to being able to manifest, to do things like even change the weather. So we dive deep into the occult sciences. We dive deep into just learning how to be in control of your own power, because in the Bible, it even says ye are gods. And a lot of people skip over that. And so I like to bring that back and help people to realize, exactly who they are, what the hell they down here doing, So that's what You Got the Juice is about. It's a powerhouse.
That's what's up.
Yeah. That's what
yeah.
What'd you say?
That's what's up. Well, I was just like piggybacking on what you were saying. Like I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Power, what I'm saying? My slogan is loving you to life, one bottle at a time. Then I have Juice Apparel, which is self-reflection clothing. So when you look in the mirror, instead of to everybody else, like this is just regular to y'all, but at my brand, this would be backwards. So then when you look in the mirror, you're having a conversation with yourself. And not only encourages you to drink water, which is what your body needs, but it also encourages you to positive self-talk, like really pouring into yourself, because so much like people are so busy trying to get to be seen by everybody else, and they're forgetting to be seen by themselves. So these affirmation clothing just really put you in the mind frame. One, it encourages you to drink water so you can go to the bathroom, but then it also encourages you to look in the mirror, because you'd be surprised how many people do not look at themselves in the mirror because they don't like what they see, they don't like how they act, they don't like something about themselves. So it just really encourages you to have those positive conversations with yourself.
Chaz, what's going on in your week?
Well, I got I'm sorry, I'm kind of coming down from being up. So yeah, but my week has been cool. Like just getting the album wrapped up and getting the visuals. Yeah, so the album Art Dealer Volume 1. Well, technically it's like an EP mini album kind of thing. That's going to be dropping August the 18th. Stay tuned for that. For those of you outside that's watching, that's really into that, alternative R&B vibe with a little bit of disco, that kind of like soulful house and neo soul, trap soul kind of vibe, definitely tune into what I'm coming through. I've been working on that and just like really deciding what I'm going to be doing like part-time. I think I'm going to be doing photography like really making that as my side hustle officially, because I've been doing photography for about 10 years,
Oh,
way
wow.
before I got into the music. So I've been doing that for about 10 plus years professionally, about 8. So it's been a journey within that. So I decided as of today I'm gonna make that really my side hustle officially. I got some gigs lined up for that. I got a music show coming up on the 23rd, which is the following Saturday. So that's during Pride. So it's but this outside of Pride events. So while I'm gonna be there, leaving from there, doing my show, and then yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, just gearing up for the album, these shows coming up, and starting
That's
to
exciting.
shoot for the art dealer book.
I've been excited waiting for your album to drop because I really want to hear it.
And David,
Album release party?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that, kind of
You need to
unplugged.
celebrate yourself. Have an album release party.
Yeah,
And
so
David,
I already got that.
Just 10 friends coming
Yeah.
together, y'all listening, vibing, drinking wine, eating food. You need to have an album release. You need to celebrate yourself. You work this hard to do what? Just release it? No.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And David, what's going on in Harlem?
Well, I'm in the middle of wrapping up our Harlem Pride show. Pride is the 24th of June in New York. And we turn up here in Harlem. About 20 something thousand people come through. And so I am 99.9% finished with the show. I'm trying to lock down our headliner and trying to negotiate the final things and get that locked down so we can start promoting. Yeah, that's really what I'm doing. Ready to get to Pride. A few more weeks.
So Dave, what is Pride like in Harlem? What is Pride like in New York? Period. I've never been to New York's Pride. I've always wanted to go. What is it like?
It is a concrete jungle. When they say concrete jungle,
yeah,
it's a jungle, meaning it is such a mixing pot of all kind of people, all kind of things. And, even the rats and the birds on the ground are not afraid. Like when you walk past, they step back once you walk past. It's very much so we all in this. No one's afraid. Everybody's going after it. And so you can just see it in every aspect of New York. The people, the culture, the animals, the dogs, the cat, it's just a jungle. And so you really have to push through. But New York is a beautiful place at the same time. I don't know if you all know we're under the Canada haze. Have you heard about the smog? Smog. Yeah, so that happened this week.
Yeah.
It's forest fires in Canada. And so that's been coming over New York. But other than that, New York is pretty good. We're resilient.
Yeah, y'all are. Y'all got a lot of stuff going on out there. For sure.
That was
So what about you, Q? What you been doing? I know we were playing.
what's going on with you?
All right, so for me, I'm planning a mixtape release party for On a Journey, which is my mixtape I'm putting out. And I've already kind of decided on the name of the EP and the album I want to put out afterwards, which is going to come out kind of fast, which would be kind of it'll probably be next year, but it's coming out. Music is coming really fast for me because I'm getting some stuff done. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm getting ready to perform at Tulsa Pride. This is my 5th time I performed at Tulsa Pride. So I'm trying to, get ready for that and make sure that I deliver something different. I want to make sure I'm happy and satisfied with how I look on stage. So I'm thinking about what my outfits will look like. And then of course, other things I'm writing right now, writing some things, getting more into acting and, getting ready for my next fashion show. So that's pretty much what's going on with me.
And the event, we're planning the event for Pride. Don't forget that.
And we're planning an event for Pride, which is going to be really slamming. So I can't wait for that to happen.
I'm so jealous you guys are planning the ball event and Pride up there. I wish I was over there to be celebrating the show, but that's okay because I will be there in spirit. I'm there in spirit. I'm good.
We've been saying they'll pay you to move here.
I know. Oh, I kept that in mind. I still have it in mind.
We're gonna keep dropping that little nugget for you.
I know.
Well, let's jump right into it, y'all, because the topics are hot on the streets. So Tyler James Williams shares an important message about sexuality during Pride Month. And this is what he says. He says, I've been very clear about intentionality. I try to put into my platform to push back against the archetypes every chance that I get. being straight doesn't look one way. Being gay doesn't look one way. And what may seem like harmless fun and conversation may actually be sending a dangerous message to those struggling with real issues. I refuse to inadvertently contribute that message. Happy Pride to all my queer and questioning brothers and sisters and individuals. I pray that you feel seen in ways that make you feel safe in a celebration that is this month. As an ally, I continue to be committed to assisting in that where I can, and helping to cultivate a future where we are all accepted and given permission to be ourselves. How do you guys feel about his statement?
I feel like that's a very powerful statement because it literally like just kind of bust down the doors for people like, people say little statements. Oh my God, that's so gay. Oh my God, that's, just little things like that. And so it kind of makes people aware of the day, how they may treat people without knowingly doing so. But it also just gives people like straight, the biggest thing like straight men, to be comfortable in themselves. Like just because you don't have to be gay to be friends with people that are, in the queer community. And I think people sometimes have that misconception that if you're friends with a group of people, then all of a sudden you are associated with those group of people, or all of a sudden that your sexuality is the same thing. Like we have a friend that helps us with the party planning. And it was beautiful to see him so comfortable in his sexuality that he wasn't bothered by planning an event with a bunch of queer people. That's what I really appreciated seeing the other night. And I was just like,
I respect stuff like that too.
We have really grown, and granted, we're not all the way there, whatever there is, but it was just really nice and relaxing to see that. I was like, wow, like he really don't, most people be uncomfortable. He really didn't care. He was there. All right, well, we need to get done, boom, boom, boom. And he didn't make any like off-putting jokes. And I was just really appreciative of him for being able to be in that space and be so comfortable in himself that he wasn't bothered by nobody else. So when I hear, Tyler James' statement, it automatically made me think of men like our friend from the other night. So.
Okay. And that's what's up. And I respect Tyler for saying that because, it takes guts for, men like him to come out and speak on that, openly and willingly, because there are cis men, out here that do want to, be friends with us, do want to get to know us and want to learn what we're about, what we do, what we can bring, what is our contribution to, to the culture, to the community as a whole, not just, queer community, not just the Black community, but combined. So it's a good feeling to have an ally like him, and because many of us had those struggles coming up, being clicked up with people and not knowing, where to fit in and stuff like that. So, this played a factor in my life. I didn't know how I was gonna, fit in with people because I was struggling with my own sexuality and things of that nature. So, knowing who I am now and free and open about it, it feels good to hear someone, say that, and I love his shows and shit like that. Avid is my shit. So, it's a good thing.
That is my show. And I think also because called him out for like how he was sitting on a show or how his mannerisms and stuff like that.
Yeah, like how his mannerisms was too feminine and things like that. Like, what does that have to do with that?
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable with yourself, then you have a lot to work on. That's how I feel.
What do you think, David?
I agree. I mean, I think that he's conscious enough to see and not only to see what's happening in the culture, but to address it. I think that it also, corners people to have to act a certain way in order to be a certain group of people. So straight people have to act a certain way, gay people have to, have to act a certain way, and it really is very toxic and unhealthy and unsafe. And actually, I'm really glad he, it shows how conscious and woke he is to actually put a spotlight on it. So I really appreciate it. I think that's really what allyship looks like, which is, I know something else we were discussing is allyship, but yeah, I'm for it.
I think it's beautiful to see Black men like himself in the position that he's in, say a statement like that because it's so profound and it's so intelligent from a Black man.
Yeah.
And It's well said, very well spoken. He's not saying no homo nigga, yada, 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 yada,
Right.
in every sentence.
Right.
So I
Ones
like
though,
the fact
the ones, oh, no homo be the ones that be
we all know that for sure. But you know,
Very much
that's
with
what
the
I love
shit.
about it. You know, like that's what I love about it. I love the fact that it was intelligent, and I feel like that he's going to lead by example, because now more intelligent heterosexual Black men are going to rise up because he said what he said, and he said it so profound, and it was so like there was no like he didn't have to insult a gay person to make his statement like other straight people do. They feel like they have to insult a gay person to make their statement known. And I mean, he's very comfortable with his sexuality, as you can tell. So I feel like even if he was gay, I feel like he had some personality because he's such a comedian. He would already came out by now.
Right.
And even
you know, so
even if he is, and that's still his business. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know how like, you know, when you call out a white person for being racist, and they be like, I got all these Black friends. Like he didn't have to go and label all his friends he had that was gay. He just simply said what it is. Let's be cool and get along with people and enjoy our lives, you know. So respect to him, you know.
Yeah.
Respect, appreciation.
So according to the website, they say your body is a powerful instrument capable of great work, great ideas, and most importantly, sexual satisfactions. For those still socially and sexually distancing, exploring our bodies is our only avenue that kind of joy. For some, this is a revolution, a rediscovery of what makes us feel good. So what do you guys think about, you know, when you're not having sex, right? What do you guys think about the idea of sex toys for queer bodies? Because we're not straight, and there are toys made for straight people, but I'm sure there are definitely stuff made for gay people. But what do you guys think about just finding toys of pleasure for a queer person? You know what I mean? Being queer and, you know, going into a sex store and trying to find something for yourself. Do you feel like out of place? Do you feel like you're accepted in those type of environments? Or have you even done that before? What is your thoughts?
I don't mind. I love sex all the time. Gay, straight. You know what I'm saying? It's about exploring your body and getting to know yourself, because it's really hard to go into a relationship if you don't even know yourself. And that's on me. So if you know, don't understand yourself sexually, what you need, what you like, you're actually missing out. You're doing yourself an injustice. So it's really important to know, to go into these stores and just debunk the whole, you know, just like taboo.
What if somebody like, what if somebody sees me looking at this, or what is like, what is this? Like, I don't know. I don't want to get it. Like, no, we're not doing that.
No, we're not.
I am cracking up.
What does this do? What's this? Like
no, let me tell you. I was in New York one time. I was in New York with my ex and everything. And we went after we went to Starbucks, we were just chilling in Brooklyn. We went to the sex toy store. And this was actually my first time going in there. So I was just like, oh my God, no, mind you, I've never been into a sex toy store and then when I was straight. So this shit is just crazy. So really going in there, I was like, oh my goodness. Face expression, everything, same thing. I'm just in here like, oh my goodness, like I'm actually in a sex toy store. I'm picking up everything, so I'm like I'm just picking up and just looking at everything like, oh my goodness, yeah.
What you learn?
I'm actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. I was
saying the people
what did I learn
that
from
work
it?
in there are very comfortable and they're very nice and they have no problem showing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I was like flattered by it, but at the same time I was like, oh shit, I'm actually in a sex toy store. Like.
I go to one in every state I've been, and I go in to see how it is and stuff like that.
Let me ask you, Unity, you being a queer woman, you know, what is that experience looking for sex toys as a queer woman? I'm
going to look for something that is going to take care of being my partner, you know, whatever but I also look for things that are kind of outside the box. But one of the things I want to do for is teach, because I like this heterosexual thought process, you know, like a lot of like the younger queer women have this idea that you have to get like the biggest strap and this, that, and there. I'm like, yo, no, because women are like they're like, toys are like keys, and this is not every key is going to fit every lock. So you going up with a 12, you going to get a 12-incher for this chick that can only take like 5 or 6 inches, you're going to cause some damage. So just really educating people on how to take care of their toys, how to pick toys is very best for you and your partner to go and find toys together so you guys can have an understanding. But this is where it comes in, where you have to know your body. Because if you're just agreeing with your partner that you're going to go get this 12-incher, 13-incher, just because, this whole thing, the bigger the better, you're not going to have a good experience. And so I am very big on like exploring what you like, exploring your body, finding toys for yourself so that you can know, so that when you get with a partner, you can have the best experience. You know what I'm saying? And so just for me, I don't care. I'm very comfortable with myself. So it's never, but like, if my daddy want to go, I'll take him to the store. Like, look, Johnny, this is what you need. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like all those things, the taboo and stuff like that. I really got those out of my mind because I really want to live the most free, exciting, fun life. And the more that I, explore that for myself, then it's going to mirror in the people that I'm around. It's going to mirror my partner. It's going to mirror in my friends. So I'm very open. So I'm not like, oh my God, this is gay. So I'm like, come on, let's go. Come on, auntie, let's go. We can go here and go find you something, baby. Come on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just
yeah.
And so,
because I'm like that with my friends now, so like I kind of get into it now. So I'm not as goofy about it as I used to be.
mm-hmm.
So now I kind of like know what to find, know what to pick out, and like yeah.
Well, David, do you have anything on this topic before we get to the next topic?
David didn't put his hood on.
Yeah, he's about to drop some knowledge.
I mean, I've tasted and seen what was out there. I've seen, especially during the pandemic, I was actually doing promos for sex toys. I was trying to sell them, because y'all, I was saying, during the pandemic, you definitely need to find something to take care of yourself. But I definitely think it's important. I think Unity was right on it about, knowing your body. In order for someone to ever be able to please you, you have to be able to please yourself. Discovering yourself is the first and foremost important thing that you need to do, because if you don't know yourself, honey, Lord mercy,
and then you get a partner but you don't even know what it is you really
don't know who you are. So sex toys are essential, and I think that it is one of the first steps of discovering yourself. So for that as well.
All right, so the last topic until we jump into conversations with David is that the Human Rights Campaign has issued a national emergency for the LGBT community. And here is a small snippet of why. According to CNN, LGBTQ plus Americans are living in a state of emergency. The multiplying threats facing millions in our community are not just perceived, they are real, tangible, and dangerous. The group's president, Kelly Robinson, said in many cases, they are resulting in violence against LGBTQ plus people, forcing families to uproot their lives and flee their homes in search of safer states, and triggering a tidal wave of increased homophobia and transphobia that puts the safety of each and every one of us at risk. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, wow.
I think we have been in a state of emergency. It's about time for them to declare it. We've been in the state of
emergency.
Right. Trump's ass got in office. And even before that, we've been in a state of emergency. It's just the fact that now the Republican Party are so clear about how to systematically and subtly and very quietly, while we're turning up and doing our thing at Pride, write bills and pass laws that keep us from our freedoms, take our freedoms from us. So I think it said something like 75 bills this year, and it's only 6 months in, have been passed against LGBT people, and that's double last year. I mean, and it's not like every time a bill is passed, it's announced. Oh, queers can't use the restroom. Oh,
I literally just
queers can't do that. Oh,
I mean, before this, I didn't hear about it before. So what he's just saying, like, that's a surprise. What you mean? I can't, like,
yeah,
what?
It's new, and
I can't do certain things.
Don't care. You don't know the law. You find to incarcerate folks having freedoms, and it's so quickly that
you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. I said it's happening so quickly that it's crazy. So we really have to be woke. I'm really glad that they decided to make it a state of emergency, because it's calling attention to what's happening.
Perfect. And you're breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure. It's just technology, you know. But you're good now. I think you're good now.
Okay.
Everyone's clear. But yeah, I mean, when I thought of state of emergency, you know, I'm thinking in my head, like, anytime I think of state of emergency, it sounds like, do I need to lock my doors? Like, state of emergency. You
What
know?
are the things that are closed? Like what, you know, is there a list of places? Like what, you know, did it give
And
you
here's
more?
the thing I'm gonna say to y'all, and I feel like everybody in here is conscious and spiritual, which I appreciate. So I feel like I can be open-minded and say this and it can be received. I feel like it also, like, statements like that can also kind of ignite fear in a mass amount of people. Like, it kind of perpetuates a fear-mongering energy still. Even though I feel like we need to be alert and aware, I still feel like there's still, you know, making a statement like that, it still manifests fear in people. And I don't know if I support that, but I get that being aware is definitely, you know, important for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need to be aware about stuff like this because that's definitely what the Republicans are doing. They're trying to like push fear into, you know, everyone, and like, you know, like we don't have time to live in fear. We've already, you know, gone through, you know, what we've been through with Stonewall and things like that. We don't need to reignite that again. So it's time for us to really stand against this.
We just need to get these old white people. Oh, like goodness. Like what is it? What is y'all's time already? Like, come on, how long y'all can be in there?
Like for real.
Generation to take over. Like, enough already. Like, we're over it. We get it. You don't like nobody. Like y'all building bills about everybody. Okay, the Chinese, the black, the white. It's like, I mean, the Chinese, black, gay. It's like y'all just don't like nobody. It's time for y'all to move on. Go on, shoot.
Y'all don't want us to have anything. They don't want us to have anything. They're trying to move us. They're trying to move us further out into the counties and things like that. You know, raising up the rent. You know, all this stuff. It's like, come on.
Well,
what is there for you to do?
Well, what right. They gonna get rid of all the black people, all the gay people, everything, and they ain't gonna have nothing to do. Ain't gonna have no fun. The fashion's gonna be trash.
Awful.
Sports gonna be trash. Ain't no buildings getting built. Like, it's just like, I mean, how much do you want to really push people to the edge? Like, it's shut down the whole world. So that's what makes me think they just do things for attention and to feed off of energy. When you understand how people feed off of negative energy, they do these things like fear mongering because they need that energy. Because if nobody's paying them attention, what will happen? Like I said, they need us. We don't need them, you know? And so once you realize that and you realize how they're continuously trying to cipher, it's like one thing after another. I'm like, good, great. That's why I said, come on now, when is y'all's time? It's about y'all about 78, it's about that time, you know, like, come on.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, let's get into it. David Bridgeforth is in the building, and this is somebody that I definitely respect and admire, and somebody that's changed my life. So first, I feel like I should start by just saying that how we met, you know what I mean? So I would say before I moved to New York and before I moved to DC, which I actually met him in DC, when I lived in Oklahoma and I had moved anywhere and lived anywhere, as far as outside of Oklahoma, I was very insecure with my sexuality, very insecure with who I am. And I was in a very, questioning place. I was in church a lot. I went to this church called Transformation Church. A lot of people that may be listening, or even y'all in the room may know who Mike Todd is. Mike Todd's a really famous pastor from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was my pastor actually. And, I was just basically just in denial about my sexuality and who I was. And when I moved out of Oklahoma, I was already doing research on the LGBTQ community and the Black LGBTQ community on my own in the comfort and the privacy of my own room. And I went on YouTube and social media and just looked up people, that were like me. I'm like, who's like me, and I came across people, and I came across one particular person, which is David, and I came across his YouTube channel. And I think he made this video that's exactly what it is. It was a video that I watched called Being Gay is a Gift from God. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? Being gay is a gift from God? I've never heard anybody say that. I was like, what does this man have to say? Because that's a really bold statement. That's a statement that people have made me feel like if I ever uttered those words, I'm going to hell. So let me see what he has to say. So I watched his video, and the way he thinks and the way he thinks about his sexuality, like I instantly connected with. And I reached out to him on Twitter, and long story short, we met in DC, and he was working for a nonprofit organization called Us Helping Us, and he was in charge of a center called Denim, which was for Black queer youth. And I joined that group, which is called Denim, and I also started to work for the organization, and we just have been the closest, for a long time. And I'm very thankful for our relationship. We have very much like a father-son relationship, which I pray that everybody in the LGBT community connects with somebody, whether that be a gay mother or a gay father, in the way that I have a relationship with David, because we've been through a lot. So without further ado, David, introduce yourself and kind of how we met.
Well, you told how we met. I mean,
Yeah.
This kid who was hungry to figure out who he was wrote me and tweeted asking. Actually, you tweeted asking me and Pony Zion to be your father and uncle, your gay father and uncle, and I got to meet Quentin, as he said, and we became inseparable. Yeah, I don't. What do you want to know? What intro do I need to do? What do you want me to say? What you want me to say?
Well, I mean, because Unity and Chaz don't really. They're just meeting you. So like, what's some unique facts about you? Let's talk about DBQ Magazine. Let's talk about what that is for people that don't know what DBQ Magazine is. Let's talk about where you're from.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can start at the very beginning. Born and raised in the Midwest of Indianapolis, Indiana. I came out when I was around 18 in high school, and I was trying to figure out who I was, but was still in the closet. And around the age of 21, I got to meet Maya Angelou, and she could see that I was a queer child blossoming before I could see that I was a queer child blossoming, because everything that I asked her when I spent time with her was about the queers, the gays, James Baldwin and Langston Hughes, and all these other gay figures, and who she knew and spent time with. And so she knew she could see I was gay. And so she really, when I met her at 21, imparted in me to tell those like me that they were better than they think they are. Like she told me to go out and tell the youth like you, even though I didn't know who I was. So she was kind of trying to say, and tell the gays like you are, honey, that the gays are great, like you are, and she just empowered me and changed my life. And so around 21, 22, after meeting her, I was studying English and communication in college. I dropped out of college my third year after having a full ride scholarship, and I began to write, and my writings became popular in the gay community. Online, and those writings were turned into a magazine. I put them into a little gay pamphlet magazine in Indianapolis, little something for Indianapolis, because Indianapolis didn't have anything gay, anything printed, anything cultural for people of color. And so this little magazine that I started called DBQ became very popular in Indianapolis. It was the stuff, and it spread from our city to the whole state, and from that state to the states next to us, Chicago, Ohio, Kentucky. And maybe a year in of printing this magazine, there was a gay kid who was being bullied in school in the state next to mine, and he was being threatened to be gay bashed because he was very flamboyant. And his mama gave him a stunt gun so that if someone tried to beat his ass again, he can pull his gun out and protect himself. Well, he did that the next day, and 8 thugs surrounded him to beat his ass, and he pulled his stunt gun out. They all ran and got the police, and the police arrested this gay kid, suspended him from school because he had a weapon on school property. This became national news. National news. It was all over the news. This gay kid was then on CNN on Don Lemon's show talking about how he came out and how he was able to be himself and the situation and all this stuff. And Don Lemon asked him how he was not able, what helped him not commit suicide after being taunted for being flamboyant and being dark skinned. And this gay kid, unbeknownst to me, pulled out my magazine, which I was on the cover of, on national TV, and said, this gay magazine that I read helped me be myself, helped me know who I am. that was the day that my magazine became a national moment. Now I didn't know who this kid was. I didn't know anything. I didn't even watch the show that night. I was actually, I didn't watch it. I didn't find out until the next morning. But that's a long story. That's a part of a story, but that is kind of how my magazine became popular. And then we distributed the magazine all over the country. Quentin, got to be a part of my magazine. He actually modeled in the magazine a few years ago. But yeah, that's how it started. Did I answer that, Quentin?
You did answer it. And, I think, just even that small, because the thing about it is that your journey and your story is a long journey and story, but you explained it in such a short way that I feel like it covered a lot, but it's still very inspiring. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate you for, explaining that. So Unity and Chaz, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What questions do you have for David? Being a Black queer person in the LGBTQ community, what do you think about his story? What's on your mind about it?
How do you feel like with you creating your magazine? Like, how do you feel has compelled like other gay bees like coming up? Even like some myself, like as now, like I'm actually inspired. Like this is actually pretty cool. How do you feel? How do you think that this like compelled like other people, like your magazine, like others?
I really didn't realize its impact. I think you realize the impact of the work you do as you continue on. There's so many people that I got to interview who we didn't know, who now we all know by name. There's so many gay celebrities who weren't gay celebrities that I interviewed and featured.
Throw some names out there.
I mean, everybody from Amalia Scott to Jessie Smollett to any of the girls on any of the ballroom girls, any of the culture girls. A lot of 10 years ago, there was no visibility. There was no people on covers of magazine. There was no gay people on TV like that. There was very 10, 11 years ago, it wasn't given like it is giving now. Actually, the past 5 to 6 years. 5 years ago, Pose came out. That was the first time trans people were on TV and nominated 5 years ago. Okay.
Right.
So 5 years before that, Dominic Jackson was in my magazine. That 5 years before that, these ballroom people who we didn't know, these culture people who we didn't know, we were trying to stir up culture ourselves in our own Black queer publications, and really pushing culture to see us for who we are. But now things are different. Everyone has a moment, everyone has a platform, everyone is getting their spaces of visibility. Everyone is able to push their vision and their dreams forward. There's opportunity. Diversity is in. Queer is in. Trans is in. Even though they're trying to bill us out and kill us and shoot us down and stump us, we are like the hottest commodity. We are it. And they can't take it. They really can't take it. But that is where culture is now. I just look at the way that how life has changed and has made some of these people who were overlooked some of the most wealthy, influential, people, Black queer people. We walk around with money and fame and influence and power. We're on TV, we're in books. George Johnson has a New York Times bestselling book, All Boys Aren't Blue. They're banning it, making millions of dollars, turning it into a film. You got queer people making movies and making Jessie Smollett just came out with a film last year called B-Boy Blues, Black queer love story, featured on BET.
That was so good. That was so good.
So many big things. It was number 1 on BET. So many different amazing experiences. We're writing. We're Patrick Ian Polk, who created Noah's Ark. He did what's the show? The Pink. What's the stripping show with the pink?
P-Valley.
P-Valley. He's writing. Yeah. There's queer people in everything. We're influencing everything. Pop culture stuff that's straight folk. And if you think about it, back in the day, the Black queer makeup artists and stylists were behind the scenes. They were just dusting the queen. Mm-hmm. Now we are the scene. Now we are making the stars. Now we actually people cisgendered women look like the trans women. How the girls in the ballroom gun up. Now
I said
girls look like that.
I said the stuff now. I said, look at all y'all gotta do is
they look like them queens. They look like trans women. They look like the girls in the balls, because you have the gay boys who are doing those girls in the balls now doing these straight girls. So our culture is just undeniable. It's just, who the fuck do they think they are? We are the shit. So I just, I think that we all live in that space. A lot of us are. But it is a time, it is a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be
exactly.
alive.
And once people realize,
even in the midst of 75 LGBTQ bills being passed this year and the Republican Party trying to suppress us, there's a reason why they're trying to suppress us, baby. We the biggest girl in the room. We have the loudest one in the room. Of course, you're trying to make us be quiet. I mean, I understand. Yeah, threat. Your threat.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. I think the one thing I love and appreciate about David is his confidence. I have never met a Black gay man as confident as David, and I really would go on record and say that. And that is contagious. And that's definitely just that adds to my self-love.
Can I say something? You know why?
Yeah.
Because God is queer.
We were just talking about that in the podcast.
God is on your side. Not on my side. He ain't on that side. So I don't know what they're going through. God is queer.
Right.
We were just talking about this too.
So I be looking at you like, you on the wrong side, sweetheart. You don't wanna fight with me. You don't want to box up this tree. Because that's that is unmatched. And that's why our magic and our creation and our power is just so influential all over the country, all over the world. Like, you just, it's just, so that's why I'm like, y'all better get on the winning team.
Yes.
You're not on the winning team. I mean,
yes.
That's where confidence comes from. He lives within us. God lives within us. And so, we have that God. You were saying a minute ago, Unity, God power. That stuff.
Yes.
God power. And I mean, man.
I was gonna say, and what people like when you said being queer is a gift, it really is, because you have to realize it literally puts you outside the box already. You got to think different. You have to learn how to navigate the world different. Your creativity is different because you have to learn how to creatively, initially, how it used to be amongst everybody else and still, be yourself. And still, at a time like when I was in high school, not wanting, the basketball players and stuff like that to know my sexuality, just because I wanted, I played sports. I didn't want to get off the team and stuff like that. But you had to creatively fit into this space, but still be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why we're so creative. Like, think about it. Like, look at all the stuff that queer people create. And that comes from already be outside of this norm that the world tries to paint for you. It's like, but I want to color.
You're right, because think about it. Those heterosexual people have been their whole life to stay inside of a box.
Yeah,
exactly.
Creativity is outside the box. Our whole lives.
Been in a lifetime cage.
Our whole lives, we've been trying to figure out how do we get inside the box, because we feel like we're out of the box, we're wrong, we're weird. How do I get in the outside of this box that is freedom? It is the outside of this box. And now, hold on. Now you have straight folk, metrosexuals. They're outside the box of their clothes. They're outside the box of their fashion. They're outside the box of their culture. Their language is more queer. They're learning outside the box of where it is.
Friends. That's why I tell friends to the gay clubs and stuff like that, because it's a whole different experience. Like, you go to, straight clubs, as people drinking, text and stuff. You go to them, you might see naked people. Somebody gonna be on a pole. It's gonna be all kinds of stuff. And nobody cares, because everybody's just having a good time, enjoying the fact that this is a place that we get to be free. So by the time everybody, what y'all do? I'm like, yeah, that's just Tuesday. What you mean? Like,
come party with us queer people. It's gonna be a freak show, but in the best way ever.
It's gonna be.
I'm cracking up.
Life, you gonna feel like it's never end, honey.
David, when did you come out?
I came out to my friends in high school and to my parents very softly, but not to the world, around 18. And then I came out again with the magazine right before the magazine came out when I was like 21, 22, to everyone. Because I also, just was such a serious personality in my community that, they didn't know what I was about to do. And so I really was able to, let people know I'm gay, queer, coming
Yeah.
out.
Over it.
That was very liberating.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I definitely feel like, in many ways, like my coming out story is kind of similar because, I didn't just have one coming out. You kind of have a coming out over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like when you come out the first time, sometimes we have a habit of coming out in different ways that we didn't realize, not only to other people, but just to ourselves, I would say like recently I've been really like identifying with the term non-binary myself, because I feel like I understand men and women as far as my gender. I wouldn't say I'm specifically one over the other. I'm just like in this gray space of just being Quentin, and I understand men and women. So I feel like I've been like, oh, if I was to add more to my queerness, I think that being non-binary is something I relate to. So that's the coming out to myself. Like, okay, I understand men and women. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's why I have that romantic and sexual energy I have towards the same sex, because I do understand women in that way, but I also have a lot of masculine traits too that come out in my personality or come out in different ways in my life. So I feel like both of my masculine and feminine energy are balanced. Would you guys say the same thing for you, or what would you say as far as masculine and feminine energy in your life?
That's
I
why
would
I go.
definitely say
I
it's
feel like,
best for me too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why I go by the androgyne God. That's what androgyny is, the balance of your masculine and feminine, which is God, the androgyne God. You know what I'm saying? Because God is all present. So
Yeah.
it is the masculine parts of the universe. It is the feminine parts of the universe. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm very balanced in that space. And that's just how. Even my name is Unity. Like like it's I
Yeah.
came what information and what story I came to tell. So it's like,
Unity, I just had something I wanted to ask you that just came to my spirit. When you say unity, it made me think of the sign Libra. David's actually a Libra, by the way. And me and David talk about astrology all the time. But when I think of unity, I think of Libra energy.
Mhm.
So
Balance.
what in your chart, where is Libra in your chart?
Libra is I don't know where it is in my chart, but I know I have my best friend Crystal is Libra, and she really helps to in that balance in just a lot of things. Like I call her and talk to she does tarot as well, and so when I need information or just to see things in another perspective, she's always a great person to call. So that's my balancing scales in my life. Like she's the only Libra I know besides David now. That I interact with on a consistent basis. So, but I'm really grateful that I know her because she really does help she really very much is Libra, very much help to balance scales and help me see many different perspectives and things of that nature. So but yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay. And I think that, first of all, Libra energy, like David's a Libra, so Libra energy is definitely heavy and, as far as influence on my chart. And, what about you, Chaz? What would you say? What signs, what in your queer friends, what would you say out of your queer friends, what signs do you feel like you attract the most?
Oh, okay. What signs I attract the most? I would honestly say I attract a lot. It's either Tauruses or Scorpios.
Mine
And
Earth and water,
I
huh?
feel, yeah, I mean, because Capricorns, Capricorn is the seagull. The Capricorn is the seagull, meaning, I can maneuver with, I can not maneuver, but I can move through earth and water. Like, I can be, standing my ground as the earth, as an earthbender, while also, understanding my emotions and flowing through it, effectively. So I've had some really intense encounters with some water signs. And I had some really like similar intense encounters with Tauruses too. So it's all about balance. And really that's really what all it is with Capricorns. We know how to balance things out. So hey, I drink water every day. And I sit in my throne on an occasion and just literally watching it's just like, speaking in my future tense. I speak in future tense on a normal basis. So it's like I'm watching myself go through life every day. And it's like I'm catching up with myself while I'm, nurturing everyone else, in their own life. So it's yeah. Not
Well,
trying to say that, yeah. Not trying to say that I'm, one of the chosen ones, but I am one of the chosen.
You are one of the chosen
well,
ones.
you are. You just said you just said you are.
Like,
So that kind
listen,
of defeats the whole statement.
Yeah.
But we are reaching the end of our podcast, and something that we always do on our podcast when we reach the end is we do some words of wisdom. So don't all go at once, but what words of wisdom do you want to leave our listeners on this episode? Episode 4.
I'll say love yourself, take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of you, you can't show up for anybody else. So that self-love, I'm heavy on it, because the more you love yourself, the more that it emits outward. So love yourself, man. Love yourself tenderly, gently, compassionately, give yourself grace, and go be the best you. You know what I'm saying? You got the juice. You already know I'm gonna put that in
And
there.
add on to that. I'm gonna add on to that, Unity. I'm gonna add on to that. Along with loving yourself and embracing your flaws and all, yourself flaws and all, and showing grace. I want to say romanticize your life.
Mhm.
Romanticize your life
I
and
love that.
embrace the highs
Love that.
and lows in your life.
Ooh, I love that.
As spiritual beings, within human form, we go through our highs and lows on a daily basis. It's important that we show grace to ourselves while we move in our conquests. You know, stay afloat while being aware of everything and everyone around us. Giving that love back that we give out to people. That's really what it's all about. Romanticize your life. Do it.
My
Do it,
words of
whatever it is
wisdom.
that you're doing.
My words of wisdom are: you're not missing out on shit when you're getting your shit together. That's my
Mhm.
words.
Boom.
Let's see. I was thinking of what would be the best one to give. Leave.
Repeat that one more time because you cut out just a little bit.
Oh, he froze on us.
You froze on us.
Oh, bro.
You back?
Okay,
You
we
back?
back.
Okay, goodness. I was like, no. Leap and grow your wings on the way down.
Yes.
Leaping, grow your wings. I like that.
Leap and grow your wings on the way down.
On the way down.
Take
Yeah.
that chance.
Yeah.
Take that chance. on
Take that leap of faith.
Take that leap of faith and take that chance. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, technology happens, as you guys know. So David froze a little bit, but I want to thank David, my godfather, for being on this episode of Carefree Queer.
Spending time with us, David.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, we want to thank David for coming on. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this 4th episode of Carefree Queer. And thank you guys for just supporting us. You can check us out on Instagram at Carefree Queer. You can check us out on Twitter at Carefree Queer_queer. You can also check us out on our own personal pages. So Chaz, shout out any pages that you want to shout out that you want people to check you out on.
All right. Check me out on Chaz Warhol Music on Instagram. Same thing with Twitter, just Chaz Warhol. Facebook is the same. If you also want to get into my photography, look me up on Instagram under Warholgraphy. That is WARHOLGRAPHY. And stay tuned for the vibes.
Awesome. And you can find me at 666 The Android God, TheAndrogod 999. And there you will find all my other pages.
And you guys can find me at Q Marcellus. You can find me also on the page Carefree Queer, which I am definitely excited about you guys checking out. And you can also catch me on YouTube and Twitter, Quentin Marcellus at Q Marcellus. And then make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. We are finally on YouTube right now. So make sure you guys check out our 3 episodes already up and now our 4th. And also make sure you guys check us out on Spotify. And soon we will be on Apple Music. We want to thank you guys so much for checking out the Carefree Queer podcast. Yes.
Give David's information.
Oh yeah, and David Bridgeforth, who my godfather, who we interviewed today, he had to leave a little bit early. He took technical issues, but you can check him out at Dave Bridgeforth, and also DBQ Magazine. Check out DBQ Magazine at DBQ Mag. And yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in to this 4th episode, and peace out.